boy, this is gonna be a long video, so grab yourself a popcorn, grab yourself something to drink. What am I, Irish suddenly? I'm gonna go with water. What is wrong with my accent? I've been speaking English for a week straight, no French, but I'm still bad at the language. What is going on? Anyways, the reason I was speaking a lot of English is because I was in the United States of America, and more precisely, goddamn Tennessee, baby! So why was I in Tennessee? Well, I was at a convention, Bride of Franken Con, with my butt buddies, Urshel Gillis, who you probably know at this point because I co-host a podcast with him, and be on the lookout because the next episode will probably go into more details and funny stories that happened during the weekend. And of course, John and Matt from the Sick on Cinema podcast, and of course, Urshel's partner. I don't know if she wants her real name out there, so I'll just say her Instagram, which is Odd Art, and you have to go follow her. Not only is she an amazing artist, but she also had to tolerate my drunk ass who had dairy products. So I was farting. I farted a lot this weekend. So. Go check out Odd Art and thank her for tolerating my gassy butthole. And of course, I've met some amazing directors and people from the industry, but I really want to give a special shout out to Connor. I don't remember his Instagram, debauchery, something. I'll go check it out right now. Botched Debrief. So he showed up, and honestly, he was an incredible. He's an incredible person. He's very nice, and he likes to drink, so we got along very well. Anyways, the stories will go out on the podcast because today is an update, and this is gonna be like a moods update because I have over 50 titles. Oh, my wallet, my poor wallet. And I'll start with I was gonna say totally legit stuff, but one of these is actually a legit release from, of course, Urshel's company, Banana Box. This time I can talk about this one and he won't get mad at me for mentioning something that I didn't even mention. The release of Gate, which he still has some copies available, and you should go pick up yourself a Gate, especially because the cover, if I'm not mistaken, was designed by Matt from the Sick on Cinema podcast, and it's a beautiful release, and this is, as I said, Banana Box gone legit. This is approved by the director, Joe Choi, I think that's his name, and it's legit, limited to 25 copies. He still has some available. I would highly recommend it because the production company behind this, Bio Toilet, is probably doing some of the best stuff, right up there with Steven Grischuk in the underground. Plus, you know, you get a legit little release from our boy Urshel, and that helps his wallet. And when his wallet is helped, I'm happy. Now the next titles are from Matt, who runs Sin Film Preservation, and even though they are bootlegs, at this point I have collected many bootlegs due to what I like. Usually, a lot of what I like doesn't have legit releases, so we're stuck with going to bootleg sites, and I've collected many bootlegs, and I have to say that Matt's stuff, Sin Film Preservation to be exact, is probably the most legit company for bootlegs right now. They're kind of the new norm. They're always limited though, so you have to act fast to pick them up, but they're at an amazing price if you're in the US. I'd highly recommend you guys check out Sin Film Preservation, but he did give me Nacho Libre. The full screen. Matt, what the fuck? I just saw it's the full screen version. You're not even giving me the goddamn fucking widescreen release. Not only do I have to watch Nacho Libre now, I have to watch it in the goddamn square. I'm not gonna watch this. I fucking hate this movie. That's the joke. Basically, Matt and Urshel created a podcast out of spite because I didn't want to watch this pile of dog shit. All right, so now I think one of these Sin releases is not yet released, so I hope Matt doesn't mind. Uh, the first one is his second release because I didn't pick up his first one because I already have a Gourmet Chalet from Hell. I think it's out of print now, that one. Not sure if you can still get. The thing with his bootlegs is they're very limited. They're limited to 15. However, they are worth well, they're super cheap. They're like $15. Like, even for like a legit copy, 15 is not that much. But yeah, so I now have a copy for my collection of Splatter Naked Blood, which is far from my favorite Isayasu Sato movie. I did cover it on my channel. If I will rewatch it, especially because it's the goddamn Sin releasing. So I'll give it a rewatch. I'll probably enjoy it more that time. Now this is his latest copy, and that is Night Dreams. So Night Dreams is, if you guys listen to the Show Me Something Wrong podcast, they covered this, and the way Matt describes this one, it looks so goofy. It looks amazing, and look at this pressed art on the disc. Not a lot of bootleg companies do that, so that's really cool. And yeah, this is not one that's gonna get probably a legit release ever. Uh, Now, finally, for the Sin film releases, the Goddess Bunny, which is, I think, a documentary about the LGBTQ community of Los Angeles, California during the 1990s. For the most part, we are given a glimpse into extraordinary life of transgender woman Sadie Crisp, better known as Goddess Bunny. The tap dancing bunny gives us an insight look to her life dealing with polio and her career in live performance. So that looks pretty cool, I think. It's a documentary that I don't think ever, well, clearly never got a legit release, and this is an amazing release. Nice cover. I've talked about bootlegs for way too long. People are gonna get angry. Tell me, why are you buying bootlegs? Well, these fucking movies don't get released legitly, so why not? Except Gate. Gate is an actual legit copy, so you should go get it. Now I'm gonna get to Grindhouse video. Now, my friend Paul, mostly known as Grindhouse Funhouse, did ask me to take footage inside of the store, and I did not because I forgot. I forgot. So yeah, so I'm gonna get into this. I'll start actually other gifts from my butt buddy Urshel. He just had like a stack of movies in the back, and he's like, take whatever you want. I don't care. I did say I would buy him breakfast, and I forgot. So sorry, Urshel. But he had these movies, and why not? The first one is Found. Now I've heard some good things, mostly from the Sick on Cinema guys, about this film, and it's one that was kind of had an impact when it came out in the like underground indie circuits. Urshel doesn't like it. I'll see. I've seen one film by Scott Schrimmer. It was the Lake one. It was all right. Nothing special. I did like it, but like it wasn't amazing. Like it wasn't. It didn't mind blow me. Now we have Trauma with the worst goddamn covers ever created. You might not even see it because it's white on in my light. But look at this stupid ass cover. Trauma really was one of the companies of all time. Well, they still exist, but like these early like mid 2000 Trauma DVDs had some of the worst covers ever. This is a film, Merchants of Death, direct to your kidney or your life, with that like font, I think like combat font with some this is a disgusting fucking cover, and it's directed by Ross Agan. No, I don't know who that is, or I think the name is familiar with me. And then finally, something else for the Takashi Miike collection. It is Yakuza. It's based off the it's based on the video game. It's a Tokyo Shock DVD, so anytime I can find one of those, I'm happy. and especially because it's based on Yakuza, which is a game I enjoy, but more specifically my brother really loves that franchise, so I told him that we'll have something to watch together. And it's Takashi Miike, so how bad can it be? Okay, Grindhouse video now. Whew, that store is amazing. They have amazing prices. Well, I'm Canadian. Anything is amazing as far as prices for me. On new stuff, they have a bunch of new stuff that you'd think wouldn't like be in print anymore. And they have a section for adult stuff. And well, I bought a lot. Well, not that much. I'll just start with those. What was funny is that John was like, yeah, if I want to buy, the adult stuff, the Vinegar Syndrome, the Impulse picture, I usually do it online. And I just looked at him, I'm like, first of all, I drove to be here. I can't get really these shipped in Canada. Second of all, I have no shame. I'll walk up to the counter with 4 Nikatsu titles. Yes, 4. That's gonna make a lot of content for the channel because I love these movies. And I bought pretty much, they added a lot. I restrained myself. I could have easily spent $200 just on Nikatsu titles. I decided not to. But I did get most of the nun stuff because I was raised Catholic and hot nuns excite me. This is Nun's Diary, colon. Of course, it has a colon. It has to have one. Confession. I can't really show the, I'll show the back, I guess. Yeah, it's from 1978. It's 70 minutes. Most of these Nikatsu titles are super short. And it's about nuns. And then I have this one, Women in Prison. Of course, you guys know I love my Women in Prison films. And now you have a Women in Prison film by Nikatsu. Again, I'll just quickly cover the back. And this one is also 69 minutes. And it's also from 78. I feel like I'm going to have a lot of 78 stuff. Because I'm pretty sure most of these were released in 78. This cover is a bit. There's a lot of Japanese ditties on there. We have Nun Story, colon, Frustration in Black. This one is actually from the 80s. And it is directed by Nubaki Shirai, which I think is familiar to me. And I can actually show the cover this time. And this is, once again, 69 minutes. These are short. You can bust a few nuts. And finally, for the Nikatsu, we have another woman in prison. Basically, my theme for these Nikatsus were nuns and women in prison. It is called True Story of a Woman in Jail, colon, continues. Now, this might be a sequel. I assume that due to the title having continues in the title. I'm not sure. I don't think I'll be confused. It's from 1975, so it's an older one. It's probably going to be a bit more classier than the one from the 80s. But yeah, it's a Nikatsu title. It's about women in jail. Probably a lot of, as I call it, carpet munching, titty eating, flicking of the clitty. I'm losing my female audience the more I speak. Continuing on the DVDs, because yeah, I still buy DVDs, especially when they're like $5. Izumi. Jesse Midnight Crawler, shout out. He got this in one of his updates, and he told me he got it like for $3, and I was like, God damn, send me the link. He sent me the link, but like with exchange rate, shipping, it would have costed me actually like $10, which that's expensive. So I found this for $5. It had Grindhouse video, so even with the exchange rate, that's still cheaper than if I would have bought it on Amazon for $3, which sounds silly, but that's just how it is. Yeah, this one's from 2003. I'm not really familiar with the film. All I know is that it's a title that I read about when I was a weeb that was advertised in a magazine. It's 2 hours long. That's a bit steep, but I can find time. I have more free time now, honestly. And it's 2 discs. Looks pretty lit. Looks pretty legit. Yeah, it looks fun. Yeah. It's one of those femme fatale kind of film. always down for femme fatale. Black Past, a Massacre video release. Now, if you know me, you know my thoughts on this fucking company. But hey, $10. This shit goes for a lot more on eBay. It is, of course, directed. I think this was the first film by Olaf Hittenbach, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, SOV. Is it even SOV? I think it's. I don't know a lot about this. Yeah, I think it's SOV. It's his first film. Of course, he's mostly known for The Burning Moon, Bermudas, stuff like that. I've only seen The Burning Moon, I think, from him, and it also presents Shitfucker presents Black Mold. So I guess that's another movie that's included. Yeah, Black Past. I've always wanted to buy this one. Back when Massacre videos were cheaper and on Amazon, I never pulled the trigger, and I kind of regret it. But now I have it for an absurdly low price. Even with exchange rate, that's like $13 right there. Now, I don't know why I bought this. They had it. It was new. They had a second sticker on it because probably nobody wanted to pay what they asked for the first time, which is understandable because it's a late. No, it's actually from '81. Okay, so I thought the Intervision Bruno Mattei films that they released were from the late 2000s, because yeah, most of them are. The one I covered, Mondo Cannibale, was from 2007, I think, or 2005. So that's quite fucking confusing. Is this even directed by Bruno Mattei? Because it says Alan W. Stevie, but that's not a real fucking name. And it doesn't even say it on the back. Pretty sure this is Bruno Mattei there. Cannibal Terror? Do I already own this? Now I'm confused as balls. That's clearly Bruno Mattei. I'm gonna look at this. Eurocine? Yeah. But I didn't think this was from the 2000. Wait, is this Jess Frank? It's either Bruno Mattei or Jess Franco. It's Mattei. It's Mattei for sure. No, it's actually directed by a French guy. What the? Okay, I got a French. Do I already own this? I don't own this, right? Please tell me. No, I own Cannibal Man. Okay, thank God. Yeah, an 80s cannibal movie from France. Okay. And of course, I could not live my life without a copy of Things, and around here, it's expensive. I did a video on this, I did a podcast on this with horrible reviews. Go listen to that and go watch that video. This is legit one of my favorite movies of all time now, so shout out Barry Gillis. Now moving on to the Blu-rays. God damn it, cause they got a lot of good prices on the Blu-rays. They got them. I'm gonna thank God for them fucking Blu-rays, man. I don't know why I'm talking like that. That was me trying to imitate their accents, which I did laugh a lot at their accents. I was asking John and Matt, you guys don't really talk like that now, do you? When we're not around you, you talk normally, right? Some of those accents were thick. John and Matt's accent are present, but not compared to what I heard in fucking Virginia or Tennessee even. Alright, now the thing about Mondo Macabro in Canada is they're like $45, $50. Over there, they were 20 US. Now, even with the conversion rate, that's about $25. So I picked up a lot of Mondo Macabro. It's one of my favorite companies. It's just so sad because the Blu-rays, in my opinion, even though I love the company, they're not really worth it because they're really bare bones. So, like, paying $45 with taxes and shit, $50 sometimes for a Blu-ray of Mondo Macabro, when literally the special feature, well, this one has a documentary, but a lot of times it's just bare bones. Anyways, this is In the Folds of the Flesh, which was a previously Severin title, and the girl that directed Glorious, which that's not really a good thing, but whatever, on their episode of The Severin Cellar, mentioned that this was one they recommended, and honestly, it's a giallo. I would have bought it even if it wasn't for that. But the fact that the lady who made fucking Glorious recommended this one kind of scares me, because after watching Glorious, I don't know if you know a thing or two about movies, man. Lady, sorry. It's a giallo, so it's probably very sexually charged, and it's directed by Sergio Bergonzelli, which I don't think I'm familiar with that person. I'll keep on with the Mondos, because I'm on a kick, and I'll keep the ones with slip covers for the end, because everybody likes their slippies. My pussy slippy, goddammit. Who Can Kill a Child? Now, this is a Spanish film, directed by Narciso Ibanez Serrador. This is one I've heard a lot of good things, and okay, never mind. This has a lot of fucking special features. I kind of feel like an asshole for my rant earlier, because these has a lot. These a lot of special features. Yeah, from 1976, from Spain. It's controversial. All you need to sell me a goddamn movie is tell me it was controversial, especially if it's from the 70s or the 80s, but very really the 70s I really love. But if it was controversial in the 70s, I'll probably buy your fucking movie. But if you're like, oh, my indie movie where a man in a gimp suit shits on a steak platter and then a lady eats it, it was controversial, I probably won't like it. Satanico pandemonium. Pandemonium satanico. Another. Oh, I should know this is Mexican. It is Spanish dialogue, but it's Mexican. I think I'm getting a lot more Mexican films than I ever thought I would, because in my mind, when I was younger and not as well versed in the genre, I didn't think Mexico had produced a lot of horror films, but no, they did, and there's nuns in this, which is weird, because for a while I was like, nunsploitation, not my vibe, and that's true, but then I bought a bunch of Nikatsu nun films, and some of my favorite Japanese films are with nuns, but then I just figured out, yeah, Italian nunsploitation, kind of mid, but there was some other ones, like Dark Waters, but that's 90s, that's not really nunsploitation. Anyways, Satanico Pandemonium, from Bride of Christ, the Slave of Satan. God damn, yeah, this looks fucking good. This looks like my type of movie. Again, 70s. If you're new to this channel, I love movies from the 70s. Probably my favorite decade of cinema. Speaking of which, another movie from the 70s. This time, a movie about my boy, Jean Rollin. And this is probably his most exploitative one. It was recently covered by Good Bad Flicks, and that is Schoolgirl Hitchhikers. Now, with a title like that, you expect it to be sleazy, and from what I heard, it's pretty goddamn sleazy. This was released, of course, by Redemption, but under their line Jezebel, which I thought was new, but apparently this came out in 2013. So I'm a bit confused. I'm not sure. It's my first Jezebel title. I just hope it doesn't look too silly next to my other Rollin film. Okay, perfect. They don't have the same number. I'm good, because this is 7. I don't know why. They're the spine numbering. Anyways, this is an exploitation film from France, from Jean Rollin, of course, who's one of my favorite directors. And this is straight up exploitation, which is weird, because if you've watched my video on Rollin, Rollin was far more of an artistic, experimental visual director, so like something straight up exploitation is weird for him to do. But he also needed money, and he also directed Pornography, which I really want to see. However, he did not sell the rights whenever Redemption bought pretty much everything from the Rollin estate, or from Rollin. He didn't want to do anything with the Pornography, because the Pornography is like the Rollin style, but with hardcore porn, so they're still Jean Rollin movies. So I really want to, but they're hard to combine. Matt, it's your next mission. Just kidding, well, if you want to. That's Massimo Dallamano. Massimo Dallamano. A director who made one of my favorite movies, probably the top 10 of mine, That is, of course, What Have You Done to Solange? And I liked What Have They Done to Your Daughter. Was the Black Veil for Lisa is alright. I really need to rewatch it. And now I have Il Dio Chiamando Dorian, or The Secret of Dorian Gay. I was gonna say Dorian Gay. Yeah, Happy Pride Month. Dorian Gray, which this is. I think this is like a kind of a giallo-esque sexual thriller. Yeah. I don't know. Masidum, I need. I think this is based on a book too. I just needed. I tried to order this in the Kino Cell, which is also in this update, by the way, and they wouldn't ship it over to Canada. I guess Raro doesn't ship to Canada. Anyways, I'm glad I own it now. Oh, we're almost done for the Grindhouse video stuff, and it's almost been like, yeah, at least almost 30 minutes, 20 minutes, I don't know. Dr. Lamb, a Cat 3 from Hong Kong, of course. I've reviewed this on my channel. I thought it would be a day one buy for me. Then I saw the fucking price in Canada, and I was like, God damn, no, thank you, I'm good. From, of course, Unearthed Classics, which Unearthed as a company is already probably the best out there right now. But their classics line, their goddamn classics line is muy bueno. It's incredible, and this is gonna be so nice next to my copy of Untold Story. There is commentaries with Art Ettinger from the Ultraviolent magazine and Bruce Holkpeck. Then there's interview with the directors, and then there's stuff about Cat 3. So this is gonna be a really interesting watch and this interesting rewatch because I truly really love this film. It is so fucking sleazy. It's a slipcover, but it's pretty much just the same on the back. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's the 8th. I think I have the 7th. I think the 7th release, of course, yeah, it was Tokyo Decadence, and Untold Story, I think was it's the 4th one. So yeah, Unearthed Classics, a wonderful line. And now the reason I wanted to go to Grindhouse video was because I heard they were selling Sound of Summer, and when I got there wasn't any more Sound of Summer. Kind of made me sad because that was the only movie I really wanted to buy during my trip, but I didn't. Finally, for Grindhouse video, Angst. They had this new. I thought this was out of print. It might be. It's Cult Epics. I think they still exist. It's fucking Angst. I've never seen this one, by the way. I've just, being in the, more darker side of cinema on the internet, I have heard a lot about this film. A lot of people love it. It's from 1983. I'm pretty sure it's Polish. Polish! Is it a German production directed by a Polish guy? No, directed by Gerald Karg. It sounds German. The names sound German. Yeah, uncut, uncensored, optically restored, and of course it is Cult Epics. It comes with a fucking essay. Like, that's quality book. It's not just a booklet, okay? This is a fucking book. Yeah. I couldn't believe this is one because I was making John and Matt laugh because they're from around there, they're used to Grindhouse video. I'm not. I was just picking stuff up. I didn't look at the prices. I just had a stack in my hand, and this is one I pulled off the shelf and I fucking immediately put in my fucking stack. This is gonna get a review, let's be honest, and because sounds like my type of movie. Sounds like a good night. Am I right, boys? A good night, a little beer, a little beer with the boys watching fucking Angst. That sounds perfect. Anyways, I'll just take a little break and then go move on to the stuff I actually got at the convention. Alright, now for the things I actually got at the convention. There was this table of very nice people who were selling VHS tapes. Now I'm not a VHS collector, and also these are also not very legit. But it's a company called King Gorilla Video. King Gorilla or King Gorilla? Celluloid video. They're on Instagram, and I would highly recommend you guys check them out, because if you like Hong Kong cinema, Category 3 stuff, that's pretty much all they sell. Which, as someone who's on a Hong Kong kick, same thing as the boys from the Second Cinema podcast, these were musts. Especially this one. I've been looking for this one for so fucking long. You guys don't even know. There is a legit release, it's just super expensive, and then there's a German release, which is also expensive, so what the fuck, I'm fucked. Anyways, it is Bamboo House of Dolls. Yes, a woman in prison film made in Hong Kong. Not by anybody. Not by anybody. This is a woman in prison film made by Shaw Brothers. What? That's why I wanted it. And this is a pretty cool release. Pretty cool cover. And the funny thing is, their the cases are from Disney. So you get, sometimes on some of their release, you get the little Disney things. And the tape. Look at the tape. The tape is actually pretty cool. I didn't even see it. Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty sweet. They were also really nice guys. We talked about a lot of movies. We even introduced them to some movies, which is weird because they look to be like experts on Asian stuff, and I introduced them to something like Female Scorpion, which was weird. Okay. Now we have The Imp, and the description is actually in English, which is rare. Poor everyman Kwong is in a tough spot. His wife is pregnant, he's lost his jobs, and his funds are running low. When Kwong is presented with a job as building security guard, he jumps at that opportunity, but soon Kyun, written differently, starts observing some strange incidents, and then his colleagues begin to die in horrible ways one by one. Yeah, this sounds like this is also a Cat 3, I think. Maybe not. King Gorilla. Maybe not. But I've heard about this one through the grapevines, through the Second Cinema boys, mostly I think it's John and Matt are both into Hong Kong cinema right now, so they're both pretty knowledgeable on it. And this one I had to buy because this is a Cat 3 classic, I think this is a Cat 3. It's Black Cat. This is a femme fatale type of film. The tradition of La Femme Nikita, Point of No Return, and The Killer. This might not be Cat 3, but this is a Hong Kong grade A cinema. So yeah, all of those, I don't know. I might watch House of Bamboo Dolls as soon as I'm done recording, honestly. Now we met the Donald, man. I love the Donald. The Donald was such a sweet man. The Donald is a great person. Here's a picture of us with the Don. And the woman he was with, Jessa Flux, which stars in his latest film, Debbie Does Demons. I actually have a poster of Debbie Does Demon and a comic book. Because Donald was like, hey, that Vampire Cop DVD is $5, but I don't have change, so here's free comic books and a free poster of Debbie Does Demons, signed by Donald and Jessa Flux. Now, I don't really have room for a poster right now, but I still appreciate the gesture. And, of course, the comic book, which I can't show anything because this is straight-up drawn porn. This is explicit, goddamn. Even the back cover, which is the back cover of the Debbie Does Demons cover. Yeah, there's a lot of nudity in this. Pretty much every page got some titties. Oh, that's a demon getting her pussy ate. But yeah, I was buying Vampire Cop, which Matt watched today, and he told us it was really fun. So, and I know this is one of Urschel's favorite of the SOV era of the Dawn. Personally, I feel like I'm going to be a bigger fan of the shot on video era of Don than his modern film, because Urschel put on Shark Exorcist after we watched one of the worst movies ever, by the way, Grandma. We'll talk again about that probably on the podcast. And fucking Urschel after that was like, let's put a palate cleanser in. And that palate cleanser was Shark Exorcist, which was, again, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Not as bad as Grandma, because at least we could openly laugh at Shark Exorcist because we weren't at a screening. But that movie's garbage, Herschel. You're fucking goddamn. You're lying to yourself if you say that's a good movie. Speaking of the lady Don was with, Jessa Flux, she was selling this, and she was also super nice. Well, everybody that we met was super nice, but I just felt bad because I went a bit autistic once during the weekend when when Jessa was asking us a question. I went a bit autistic, and I felt really bad about it. I was gonna buy a picture with her, but then I saw she was selling The Secret of Cuck Island, which I prefer Secret of Cuck Island to picture. I don't know what this is. I bought it. We'll cover it on the podcast. I don't know why. This seems to be an over-the-top, trauma-esque kind of comedy, and she signed it. She was so nice. I just showed the back. Her bare titties are out on the back of this, so I'll have to censor that. Cause like drawn titties, YouTube don't mind usually, but flat out human titties on the back, that's not good. And there was also another indie filmmaker, Sean Donahue, the bald man himself. I bought Death Escort Service because I didn't really have the money at this point of the convention to buy anything else. But again, Sean was an amazing person, yeah, it's from the studio that brought you American Holocaust and Die Delta Pi. That's never a good fucking sign. It is directed by Sean Donahue, presented to you by the Sleazebox and Gator Blade. This was one that I'm actually excited because apparently it is very good. Connor, again, shout out, probably best human being ever. He got the VHS of this, and the VHS, the tape, that release was, mucho bueno. And but yeah, I had to go with the $5 DVD at that point. Honestly, looking back, I would have bought more Sleazebox things because you can't really get them here. But I heard the Death Escort Service films are going to get released by Unearthed, so I'll pick those. I'll pick those up. It looks sleazy as shit. Probably nice. Probably make a video on that. Now we have a Mexican film. I'm on the Mexican radio. I'll pick up 2 Mexican films. This is The Witch's Mirror? The Witch's Mirror. Or El Espejo de la Bruja. It is a Mexican film from the 60s, 1960. And basically got this because I had store credits at Orbit when I traded in my shit. And I had $5 left, so it sold me this for $5. And they had a few copies. I'm curious. I love 60s black and white horror films, and the Mexican movies I did see before, I really like them, so we'll see. From what I understand, they had a lot more balls than American filmmakers at that time, even though Herschel Gordon Lewis came out not too long after this. Oh shit, I'm almost done. Again, the farm was there, the Don, and he's a great man. And I couldn't just buy Vampire Cop. I had to buy the movie that made me like fall in love with him as a filmmaker and as a person, because there's a lot of reference to some of my favorite movies in there, and that is Red Lips. Shot on video classic, is signed by the Donald himself, and I just really love this movie. I'm sure when I rewatch it, I'll go up on it because it is truly the type of film I adore, but I did watch it on like a computer during the middle of the day without really the mood wasn't set. Let's just say that. It of course stars Michelle Bauer, probably in her favorite role, and the main actress Getty Choson. I don't think she's ever acted after this, which is sad because she's super impressive. But yeah, this is like a lesbian vampire kind of love story. It's a very romantic film. It is truly shockingly amazing. I really like this one. We talked about it more on the podcast on the Don episode, the Donald Farmer, and then the next week after that we interviewed the man and I talked to him to death about fucking Red Lips. I'm sure he would have loved to talk about his newest films, but I talked to him about fucking lesbian vampires and Jess Franco for 20 minutes. We'll have him back on. I don't think he recognizes us, but that's over. Now these, I feel like these two go hand in hand together. I might pull a double feature with both of these. That's Martyrs and the Serbian film. Let's start with a Serbian film. This is the Unearthed, of course, the Unearthed release, the most recent release, and I'm pretty sure this is the only uncut version. I've seen a Serbian film before. When I was a child that wasn't really into these types of movies, I didn't really like it. I think I gave it a 2.5, which is still good, 2.5, that's a 5 out of 10. That's like an okay movie. But I know I'm gonna love it if I rewatch it now because it's pretentious, it's fucking graphic, it's ballsy. I'm surprised it was done in the 2010s because this feels like a movie that shouldn't have existed past 1979. The cover, beautiful, and this is like the ultimate release, like Unearthed. And this is one again I was surprised to find at such a low price because it is. I think it might still be in print. So yeah, I will do a video on a Serbian film eventually. It's a classic that you have to, if you're into this little community of weirdos. You might be tired of people making videos on a Serbian film, but I feel like it's a title that's a must for anybody who discusses this type of cinema, especially because it's very transgressive, very out there, and it's just a good movie. That's the problem, right? It's like Cannibal Holocaust, where you cannot love Cannibal Holocaust, but you can't deny that it's not a well-made film. And same thing with a Serbian film. Like you can hate the film and its content, but you can't deny that it's a well-made film. Yeah. So we'll see about that one. And then, of course, I've never seen Martyrs, but I had to have it. Now, Amanda, I don't remember if she's John's sister. She's related to John and Matt, and she doesn't like this one. And they booed her for that. But yeah, I'll make my own goddamn opinion. I've never seen Martyrs. The French extreme movement I like. I love, but I kind of feel like I'm in the minority as to, like, my favorite is other than Irréversible, my favorite is Frontières, and I fucking hated High Tension, but then again, I haven't seen Calvaire yet, which is from Belgium, so it shouldn't count as the French extreme, and I haven't seen Eden Lake, and I haven't seen Inside. Did I see Inside? I was just really disappointed about High Tension. But yeah, Martyrs, the original, because it got remade. It's directed by, of course, what's his goddamn name? Co-production officielle France-Canada. What? This movie's co-produced in Canada? What the fuck? Canadian crédit d'impôt? I was 30 years old when I discovered that Martyrs was a fucking Canadian co-production? My mind is blown. We don't have a release for this in Canada, and it's a Canadian goddamn co-production. Goddamn. A bit of a change. Jacko. Now they had Chainsaw Hookers, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, which is a terrible fucking movie, don't watch that one. But I couldn't stop myself from buying Jacko, Halloween themed film, Jacko by Fred Olen Ray. It's from the 80s. It's from the 90s. Is it from the 90s? It's from the fucking 90s? This shit's from the 90s? God damn. Yeah, I haven't seen Jacko. I have nothing to say. Now, we're moving on to more indie sleaze. Amityville Vibrator, yeah. This is kind of like, Cool Duder's Amityville Karen, but totally not. I can't show the back. There's a woman touching herself. Can't show that on YouTube. Their cover is very suggestive. That's a big deal, For God's sake, get off. This just looks really fun, and it has a quote on the back from Sean Donahue, and that is, "Sets the standard for a new level of sleaze. I couldn't believe some of the things I saw in this flick," see, this is the type of movie that's made for me. The back says, "Featuring tons of explicit nudity, you got my attention, extreme gore. Goddamn, that's that. Goddamn, son." And then real drug use, which I think is just people smoking weed, and enough blasphemy to send any viewer straight to hell. As a former Catholic, thank you. I want to go to hell. The place looks fun. You can get your ass fucked, and it's always hot. Do I do the Scream team? I'm gonna do the Scream team last because, now, I don't know why. A lot of movies I watched younger and I need to rewatch, and this is because I watched it on the shitty transfer. I watched this one originally on YouTube. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I understand why people liked it, so I really want to give it another watch. Speaking of Hong Kong flicks, this is Rikyo, a classic, category 3. And I just love this cover, this like manga cover, because yes, I think it's a Japanese manga that was adapted in Hong Kong, from what I understand. So that's pretty fucking cool. This looks fucking great. Yeah, I'm excited because this one for a while was hard to find on DVD, and then 88 Films were like, "Here's the Blu-ray, but it's region B," and I'm like, I have a region free player. Goddamn. If you don't have a region free player, Urshel, what are people doing? You're missing out on some amazing releases, especially if you're into Asian cinema. We don't get shit here, but like fucking Third Window Films, they get a lot of Japanese and shit, and fuck, man, some good shit on there. What the fuck are you guys waiting? Go buy a region free player. Yeah, fucking breathe. Rote Sono. Radiance Film, Rote Sono, or The Red Sun. I don't know what this is, but I like myself some artfully done exploitation too. And this is German, I think. Yeah, Rudolf Dumm. And it's German language. Yeah, so this is a German film. Some, I don't know, 70s, I think. 60s? 1970s, so borderline 60s. And yeah, it just looks really cool. So I got it. I have nothing to say. I'm pretty sure it's like some artfully done exploitation. Which is, you know, that's my shit right there. Exploitation that's artfully done. Alright, Scream Team now. Scream Team is a company that releases a lot of stuff. A lot of modern stuff, modern indie stuff, and they don't ship to Canada. Or if they do, it's expensive. So I went wild, especially because they had a buy 4 get 1 free. I know, I'm stupid. But the reason I wanted to go to their table was because, let's be honest, The Barn 2. I love The Barn 1. This was released, like 2 years ago, 1 year ago. Yeah, last year, and ever since then, I wanted to watch it because, as I said, I fucking love The Barn. The Barn is like a Halloween staple now in my house, and I've only seen it like last year. And I think I've already seen it like twice or 3 times. So yeah, I was excited for the sequel, picked it on Blu-ray. Now the only issue is I only have the first one on DVD, and now I got this one on Blu-ray. I would like to get the first one on Blu-ray, because it's a modern movie. It probably looks good on Blu-ray. But now I got the second one at least on Blu-ray. Ray, what a lucky guy. He's getting blown out of the goddamn town. The Witching season, I think they specialize in like these holiday-themed horror films. And this is a anthology. I'm pretty sure this is an anthology. John recommended me this one. Also, I really like the cover. Yeah. All of these have, like, these are really nice releases because they all have alternative covers. They're fully pressed discs. I'm pretty sure they're actual Blu-rays and not Blu-ray Rs. No, they're not Blu-ray Rs. So, like, these are full-on, like, well-produced, well-distributed indie films. So that's pretty cool to see. Um, White Doomsday. I think this one's Christmas theme. Yeah, this is Christmas themed psychological horror. Damn, looks pretty cool. It's another one that got recommended because I was with John. I'm like, just recommend me like the movies, your favorite Scream Team releasing movies, and was one of them. White Doomsday. This one, Connor was jealous because I think it sold out probably the first day, and that is Back Road, one of the year's nastiest films. Yeah, this just looked like it was made for me, like a throwback to like early 2000s gore kind of extreme wave of films. The version too extreme for streaming, because yeah, this is the X-rated director's cut, which I don't think is porn. I just think like they have like all the gore that was cut out probably of the streaming versions. Because the good thing about Scream Team releasing stuff is they're easy to find online. I think a lot of it's on Tubi. I watched 1031 on Tubi. I liked 1031, which wasn't my favorite, so I didn't pick up the sequel, which I think it's an anthology film, so why didn't I pick up the sequel? Yeah, because I want Back Road. This one's directed by Drew Pizzo. Not to be confused with Drew Pisser. Funny. Fucking funny. The Sleeper, I Got AIDS. This is actually one I've heard about, and I've heard good things. This was a throwback to 1980s slasher. It's my only worry is that it'll look cheesy, but that cover. But I do think it actually got a VHS release, and there's an alternative cut on this. It comes on its own DVD. That's the lost VHS version. It's not rated, and yeah, you have the Blu-ray. A special, yeah, I don't know. I heard about the Sleeper before, and I really wanted to see it. Again, they had it. Now, finally, non-convention related purchases. The Kino sale, but before that, I got Symptoms. I reviewed this on my second channel. This movie is a masterpiece. It's a solid, spooky 10 out of 10. Which is rare, so go check out Symptoms. Jess Franco, you know I had to pick up my Franco, and of course this was one that Urshel had seen and Matt had seen before me, so I had to change that. So I bought it during the sale, and I received it after Matt, so Matt watched it before me. This movie is one of my favorite Francos. Not sure if I'm gonna cover it in my video, in my Just Franco video, but maybe on the second part, because this just isn't like staple Franco. This one's a tad more obscure, but it's fucking, between you and me, it's fucking good. It's one of the best he ever made, so it's a good fucking take on the Frankenstein story, even though it's totally not based on the book. So there's nothing. Canucks exploitation insect. It's probably mostly known as Blue Monkey. Upgraded this from a my shitty bootleg DVD that was a VHS rip, and now I have a okay looking Code Red transfer. Look, it's Code Red, and at least we got Blue Monkey now on Blu-ray, so I can't really complain. Transfer is nothing special. That was Gate. I already showed that. Pete Walker. Slowly getting all of the Pete Walker films I can. Pete Walker is a British director. I covered his film Frightmare on my channel back in the days. He's one of my favorite British directors. A lot more sleazier than you expect, especially from this era of Britain. And they weren't very lax on censorship. They were very heavily censored. But surprisingly enough, Pete Walker could make some goddamn sleazy films even with the restriction of the BBFC. Mostly I think because he was friends with people in the BBFC, which usually fucking helps. But yeah, the comeback. Haven't seen it yet. Finally, it's a slippy cover. It is. I just saw the title, and it was a 70s exploitation film. Like, I got to fucking buy this one. It's Mysterious Island of Beautiful Women. Now we have the cast. That was typical for these types of film at the time. We got a white blonde lady, we got Asian lady, we got black lady, we got brunette. That is cast. That cast you expect from a movie from this era, and I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Trust me, I'm not mad. Yeah, so it's slipcover, but it doesn't have an alternative cover. I haven't seen this yet. It's just I like the title. I like the cover. I saw it probably had some titties on there, and titties of every color, which is fucking beautiful. Thank you. About goddamn time I get some multiple colored boobies. If you made it this far, thank you. I'll return to my regularly scheduled reviews. It's just I didn't plan on making a review this week. I was out of the country there for a week. Again, Matt, John, Urshel, Oddart, and of course Connor, who I wasn't expecting to meet. He just showed up, ended up being a great guy. All of the people I mentioned are great. It's just I knew they were great, but like Connor just came out of nowhere, ended up being an awesome guy. So yeah, shout outs to all of those people. Shout out to Donald Farmer, shout out Jessa Flux, shout out Franken Con, shout out Felicia Rose. No, I didn't get anything signed. I'm not spending $70 US on signatures, goddamn.